Black people have a lot of privilege in America. We can be racist without any repercussions. We can say the N-word while other people are not allowed to say the N-word.
But I think quite a few Jamaicans think that you guys play the victim a lot. It's like, gosh, them complain about everything. Look how much opportunity them have. Look how them can work. Look how them can buy $1 burger. And them over there complain.
So y'all look at this with me real quick, right? It says Jake was drunk. Josie was drunk. Jake and Josie hooked up. Josie could not consent. The next day, Jake was charged.
All right, y'all, a little bit of house cleaning before we get started. For those who've been rocking with me from day one, I appreciate the support. For those who may be new here, coming in or out the door, for me, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, get it cracking in the comments. Every bit of your engagement helps promote me into the YouTube algorithm. I thank y'all for the support. Now let's get to it.
Black people have a lot of privilege in America. We can be racist without any repercussions. We can say the N-word while other people are not allowed to say the N-word. We aren't allowed to be criticized because if we are, then that's people being racist to us. People have to walk on eggshells around us because they can't risk hurting our feelings. The bar has been set so low for us because we cannot do even the most simplest task. And that's all I can think of. Can y'all think of any others? Let me know.
See, now you found yourself a nigga. You was looking for a nigga? Nigga here now.
I oftentimes on my channel ask this question: what's the end game? Like, what's the point? And when I came across this post, that thought immediately went into my head. What was the point of this? What was his end game? And it was simply to gaslight and troll. Because nothing he said is quantifiable or quantifiably accurate, right? He touched on some points like, for instance, the asinine point of black people can say the N-word.
Nigga, please.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure within the confines of homes, they say exactly what they want and exactly how they feel. So they're allowed to say the N-word as much as they please. They just know that there are repercussions and consequences for saying it in front of certain black people. So that point of saying the N-word when other people can't, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, I hate to say it like that, man, but shut the fuck up. Like, you are nothing more than a supreme gaslighter. You made this post on purpose. You posted this bullshit on purpose. You know why you did it? Because you're a small little peon that has nothing better to do than besides to gaslight people who share your reflection. Why? Because you're seeking attention. You're a disturbed individual with nothing else going on in his life but to post up asinine, inflammatory content to get attention and to possibly go viral. Go to hell, and everyone that resembles you can go there with you with gasoline draws on. Let's go to the next one. I'm not even going to address this BS.
I'm not going to speak for my whole country. Love Jamaica. But I think quite a few Jamaicans think that you guys play the victim a lot. Like an outsider looking in, it's like, gosh, them complain about everything. Look how much opportunity them have. Look how them can work. Look how them can buy $1 burger. And them over there complain. And that is how I was preconditioned, if I'm being totally honest. They're like, Shante,
It makes sense.
yeah, don't go over there and waste opportunity. Don't go over there and start complaining. Work for your own, focus on that. So that's always been my mindset. We're so focused on just making it. I really want to emphasize that. But sometimes when you just are focused on, oh, you're going to eat, you know, think say somebody a touch you. You know, think say, you know, oh, I'm not have the right temperature. I'm hungry. What y'all gonna do? Like, you're
Just pause. Just to translate. She was talking about when when you're focused, when you're so hungry, you're not worried about, who's doing this or that. You're just trying to eat. You just got to get the food, put it in your mouth, and then get to work so you can go eat again, right? That's just to translate that, because I know some of y'all probably lost, just want to clarify that.
and we'll have subtitles if needs be, right?
No, you got me. I'm right here. It is our job, or it's everybody's job, to be able to grow up and be able to see through other lenses and other perspectives without
Yes.
having to live that experience.
I know, get it. And I think a lot of Jamaicans don't get that because they have never been here and they don't live the life of a black American.
So, real quick, this is how sometimes diaspora wars get started. I know a lot of you may run across this stuff on social media where you have Caribbeans, Africans, and foundational black Americans going back and forth. in comment sections about certain topics. Like this is one, for instance, how they perceive African Americans or foundational Black Americans as being lazy, complainers, and perpetual victims.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
However, I'll tell anyone in the diaspora that we are given history and images of each other by media set about to keep us divided. Now, I'm not a Pan-Africanist by any stretch of the imagination, because I believe we have to fix our own before we can fix anybody else's. But I will tell everyone in the diaspora, like, mind your own shit, like mind your own business. You cannot come into my country and critique from the outside looking in. You're not part of this struggle. Now, when you get here, the powers that be and others don't see you as anything but another Black person. And I know y'all have your own ethnicity, your ethnicities, your tribalism, and your own identity. I get it. But when you come here, they just see you as Black. They're not gonna take the time and say, hey, are you Caribbean? Are you Puerto Rican? Are you African? Or what part of Africa are you from? What country are you from? They don't give a damn. And they're not gonna take the time to figure out where you're from. They just see your Blackness. Now, for those who are like us, who are Black or share our reflection or melanin or wherever you may come from the diaspora, don't get it twisted. We understand that each place has its own struggle. That's one thing FBA, we're very tuned in to the struggle of others. Like, for instance, if it wasn't for us, immigration would have been open for a lot of you to come over here and enjoy the privileges and the benefits that people who are my ancestors fought and bled and died for. That's a fact. You guys wouldn't be here if it was not for those people's efforts, their blood, their tears, to open up immigration to allow you to come over, because we wanted more Black people to come here because we view you as allies, not enemies. Now, I get it. At the end, they did bring it full circle, and they were like, I don't have the experience of a Black American, so it's wrong for me to speak on their struggles and their issues. Fantastic job, young lady. I agree. And to the gentleman, I also agree as well. We all have to get out of our own head space from the media propaganda that we was fed about one another to realize that we all have different struggles, but they're more similar than they're not. Because in Jamaica, you fought for your freedoms. I know the whole story about the Jamaican Bushmen and how y'all got y'all independence, but I know also that y'all have a third world outlook. Like, you come from a third world country. And I know it was done to you intentionally to squeeze y'all out of economic opportunities because y'all fought for y'all independence. So I don't have any shade to throw to Jamaicans or anyone in the Caribbean, because I get it. I get why y'all are third world, because the powers that be wanted y'all to be that way because y'all had the audacity to stand up for yourself and fight for freedom. But don't look over here at us as if we're just some privileged Blacks whining and complaining when we have everything in the world, because we fought for everything we have, and we'll continue to fight for everything we have, because that's just how we're made. We are those people. We are the depiction of Blackness all around the world. When people's first thought of who a Black person is, they think of us. And that's not me being arrogant, that's just the truth. But congratulations to this podcast. Y'all did a fantastic job. I'm glad that y'all brought that full circle and explained that we all got to get out of each other's way and stop having these preconceptions that was fed to us by a defunct media trying to propagate propaganda to make us dislike each other, to create discord and disunity among us. Let's go to the next one, man.
So have y'all seen this before? So it looks like an older poster, but this is the first time I was seeing it. So y'all look at this with me real quick, right? It says Jake was drunk. Josie was drunk. Jake and Josie hooked up. Josie could not consent. The next day, Jake was charged. A woman who is intoxicated cannot give her legal consent. Okay? Y'all see the poster, right? I have some questions for legal TikTok. So let's break this down from the top. It says Jake was drunk, Josie was drunk. So they're starting off on equal footing, right? Then it says Jake and Josie hooked up. It doesn't say that anybody was passed out. It doesn't say that anybody was forced. It says Jake and Josie hooked up. Cool. Josie could not consent. how is it that Josie could not consent but Jake could? Like, if they were both drunk. Somebody explain that part to me, because that's the part that I start to get lost, right? Let's go to the next part. The next day, Jake was charged. Okay, so even though they both hooked up, we're saying Josie could not consent. And because Josie could not consent, Jake was charged. Let's look at the bottom. A woman who was intoxicated cannot give her legal consent. So are they saying that a man who is intoxicated can give his legal consent? Because that doesn't make sense to me. For a society that loves to cry equal rights and women's rights and feminism, how is it that in a situation like this, the two are not on equal footing? When again, it doesn't say that anyone was passed out. It doesn't say that anyone was forced. It says they were both drunk, but she could not give consent. So legally, I'm talking to anyone who has any kind of legal expertise, legal background. Legally, if they had woken up the next morning and he decided that he was taken advantage of in a vulnerable state, does he have the right to press charges? Or is it only the woman who has the right to press charges? Because that's not fair. That doesn't make sense. Him getting charged in that situation doesn't make sense, because again, they were both on equal footing. So I need somebody to break that down for me, because it don't make sense.
Actually, none of it makes sense. And me being a rational person or a logical person, it reeks of society, in particular feminists, conceding the ground that men are superior to women. Ooh, how dare you?
How dare you?
Because this is what this lends to. You're saying that a man who is inebriated can consent, but a woman who is inebriated cannot. So what's the difference between men and women? Because y'all always preach this equilibrium that men and women are the same. Men and women are equal, and men and women should have the same rights and the same privileges and opportunities. But when you talk about this, then as well, women are far inferior to men when it comes to being able to handle their alcohol, which I believe is nonsense, because I've ran across several women in my lifetime that could drink your ass under the table without you blinking your eye. So this type of thing lends to putting men in a situation of superiority over women. Because what else can we deduce from this? Like, seriously, like, if anyone comes across this, get in the comments and let me know. Like, what else can we deduce from this other than the fact that you're saying that men are superior than women? Because if men and women are equal, and you're always preaching that men and women are equal and are on the same playing field and are on equal levels, then you're reverting back to biology to tell me that men and women are different. No, I know y'all liberal feminists are not going back to natural biology to make this point. And see, this is why this stuff is so disingenuous. On one hand, you're saying there's no difference between men and women, and on the other hand, you're saying, well, let's go back to the biology of it, and because men are bigger and they're out and their muscles and their system absorbs alcohol differently than women, then women are inferior in that aspect. And if a woman is intoxicated or inebriated, she can't consent, but a guy, he's okay because, you know, he's just a guy and that's how we want it. You see how that sounds? You want to revert back to a position of submission or a position of vulnerability when it suits you, but you want to feign superiority when it benefits you in corporate structures and academia and things of that nature. Then you want to tout how superior you are to men. But when it comes to natural biology and the reality of the world, then you're inferior. This is nonsense, man. I can't stand this stuff. That's all I got, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, get it cracking in the comments. I'll catch y'all in the credits. 2 fingers. Peace. We out. We got to stop this shit, man.
I'm making a difference.
Black Jesus.
Energy is fire. Conversation is right. If you stay tonight, baby, I might let you take all of me. Want you here, need your mind in these shades. Completely intertwined in our minds, yeah. Tell your future like a sign.